Hi everybody, and welcome back to another edition of SCZ Live. I'm Shanae, and I'm here at our South American habitat at Sedgwick County Zoo. Now, today is September 11th, and like many of you, I am thinking back over the last 19 years. 19 years ago, myself and about 2,000 other zoo and aquarium colleagues were at our national conference in St. Louis. And I can tell you at that time, one of the things that just amazed me, and I felt so blessed to be a part of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, was how well everybody worked together in that crisis. Now, I think part of the reason we were able to do that is because we continually work together in crisis on how we can make sure that we keep these species alive. So when it came down to a human crisis and we were looking at different ways to make sure that our zoos, our aquariums, and our staff all had the resources that they need, we just converted what we did for animals over to humans in that area. All of our organizations, and there's over 235 different Association of Zoos and Aquariums facilities out there, are all striving each and every day to make a difference in the world for animals, natural places, and for the humans that live there. And today we are working with the animals that live here at Sedgwick County Zoo and the cold front that came through this week. It was quite a shock to us as staff, but also to the animals. But the great thing is we have staff that are well prepared and jump into action to make sure that the animals have all they need. And today I'm here with Joe, who is one of our keepers in Australia, South America, and we're over at the Squirrel Monkeys. Joe, tell me what you guys have been doing here at the Squirrel Monkeys.
So, like Shanae said, my name is Joe. I'm here in South America, which is typically a warm climate, and squirrel monkeys, much like many of them, are in tropical weather. They're in warm weather, rainy weather, things like that. So, when the weather gets cold and we have a cold snap, you can see them kind of climbing up here. We need to make sure they're in a warm enough climate to stay healthy and not get sick on us. So we want to make sure the squirrel monkeys can stay on exhibit as long as possible in the warmer seasons, and not as soon as it gets cold right away that we move them back. They have a holding that is back behind the scenes for when the winter weather is here.
Once we can no longer keep them to the temperatures they need to on exhibit, on
and
habitat.
So to keep them on exhibit as long as we possibly can, we make sure that on the edges of the fall and the spring, when it's still a little chilly, we have ways to keep them warm to compensate for a shorter time period. So if it's going to be cold for just like a day or two, then we're able to keep them out here without having to react quickly and get them caught up and moved in as fast as we possibly can. That's not great for the animals. It can add more stress. Here's Zula up close.
So again, one of those great opportunities where we can just show the importance of animal welfare through training, through enrichment, through knowing these different species as well.
And the cutoff for squirrel monkeys here at Sedgwick County Zoo is typically about 50 degrees. We had a couple nights where it dipped below 50. It was in the mid-upper 40s. And so we had to be ready. We had to make sure that the exhibit was set up so that they were going to be okay those couple of nights. And so I'll have you follow me back here. And if you look right here, we have some cloths. There's a blanket kind of on this side that we've clipped up. And there's also one on the back side. So that just adds another wind barrier and block back here. And then behind it all, we have a couple little box heaters here, and then we can hide either a heater, or if it gets really hot, we can put a fan in, and we can cool them down. So it kind of is multi-purpose. So that's kind of what we have set up over in this area. So, and then inside the exhibit, in this back area, I don't know if you can see this well, there is a box. So if it gets really cold, they can hop in the side of that box and hunker down. There's some straw bedding in there. This is Quentin. He's one of our youngest, or he's our youngest. He was born last year. And
they're very photogenic.
Yeah, very photogenic for sure. Tuvok is the other male. He's sitting on the perch from behind there. And this is Mama. This is Churita. And they're looking for a treat. They weren't rewarded for coming back here, so we'll give it to them. We have five in total.
You've really looked at a variety of different things. You have a shelter for them to go into, so much like if we were camping, and it was a little chilly, we might go into a tent. We have those heaters in the winter that can be converted over to fans in the summer. And then just like all of us out there, when I get a little chilly, by gosh, I just throw on a blanket.
Yep,
So
some
all
straw
of those
bedding.
things, as simple as they can be, can make a big difference in us being able to keep the animals outdoors longer and allow them to have different enrichment, different environments for them to enjoy.
And so Quentin, like I said, was born last year. He was born in November of last year, so he's not quite a year yet. And at this point, he should be completely weaned. He should be not riding on mom. They ride on their backs or sides. And so when that first cold snap hit, we did see him hiding on mom's back. Yeah, like, oh, what is happening? This is not normal. That sort of stuff. So.
And that's typical kid right there. I'm cold.
Child.
What can I take from mom?
I'm not gonna lie. I may have hopped in bed with mom and
That's
dad
right,
at that age.
exactly.
So that makes sense. And we have a normal barrier on the other side as well, like a thatch barrier as well.
And even just having those small areas where we can keep some of those colder winds off them can make a big difference.
And so we're always adapting to all different sorts of weather. We've had different types of roofs on here before, and actually that's another thing we did recently to help with the weather is we built this roof right here that over the back area and over part of the exhibit so that they had a dry area to come to. So we help accommodate to rain and snow, or hopefully it's not snowing while they're out here, and we accommodate to the cold, and then we also accommodate to the warmth. And so we have misters that we put on when it gets really hot, usually above like 90 degrees. They like to, and they live in a rainy climate. And then they have a natural behavior where they like lay with their arms and legs on either side of the perching to kind of lay down, relax, and cool down. And we actually have a couple that are keeper made that we can put a frozen water bottle in, and they will lay in it to cool down as well.
So where they're laying there, they're actually laying on a cooler surface to begin with.
Yep.
It's like the stone cold slab ice cream.
Yes, exactly right. There you go.
You just never know what creativity can come up, and that's important. And one of the things that I love about this particular profession is the creativity that we have. Everything from just simply using a Rubbermaid tub and being able to cut out and use it as a resource that we need, to just using regular heaters, but making sure they're covered, to even, Joe, I noticed this right here, and this looks like it's a swing hammock that's just made out of old fire hose.
Yep, old fire hose. This is a smaller hose. We also have some large, thicker hose we use to make stuff as well. So squirrel monkeys, much like other primates, are very active, very curious, very intelligent. So we have to give them different stuff to keep them busy. Primates are required to have some sort of enrichment. You've probably heard that term before if you've been watching this, watching these lives. But we have to give them something at least daily and hopefully more. So like right now, we just finished doing a little bit of crate training so that eventually we can bring them in, and we rewarded them afterwards. We have some lettuce that has some mealworms that crawled up in there so they can pick out of it.
And I see them right there.
Yep.
Let's see if I can come around to this side maybe and get a better view of that. You can see right there, there's that lettuce. And you stuck mealworms in there, so they have to dig those out.
There, yep. And then they have like a play toy board on the wall. So there's all different stuff to kind of keep them busy. We rotate what logs are hanging in there, what chains are hanging in there, put different everything.
And I think right now we're as much enrichment as anything else, aren't we?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time out here because, like I said, we were working and feeding them right before we started this live. So they've gotten their people time for sure this afternoon.
Joe, thank you so much for joining us today on SCZ Live, for showing our guests just some of the different ways that we care for animals each and every day, and make sure that they have all the resources that they need. Please join us again for another edition of SCZ Live, normally on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock.